So Nikki Haley, who is the United States representative to the United Nations, has basically addressed the Human Rights Council saying, you know, it's a privilege to serve on this body, and we really shouldn't be allowing countries with abysmal human rights records to serve, which is interesting because it's like the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, look, we all like to think of our country as being the good guys. It doesn't matter which country you're in. We don't like to think of ourselves as the villains. We don't like to think of ourselves as the ones who are causing oppression and sponsoring terrorism around the world. However, many of the same claims that are made against these countries that we put on blacklists, that we call the bad guys, many of those same claims could be made against the United States. And I want you to understand that. We're not talking about holding individuals responsible for their actions. We're talking about holding other entire countries responsible for the actions of individuals within their countries. Now, when those other countries sponsor terrorist acts, as in the governments, as in those people that make up those governments, hire people to go out and commit these acts of violence, then I think once again it comes back to the people being held accountable. This is why they have war crimes trials, right? The problem is, who is it that serves on the trials? It's those who win the conflict. You didn't see anybody from the United States put up on a war crime trial for things that happened during World War II, or Korea, or Vietnam, or Iraq. I mean, there are, once upon a time, there are individual soldiers who are put in front of a military tribunal. But in terms of the worldwide focus and saying, look, this was a war crime, how often has the United States been held accountable for some of the things that we've done? And now we're turning around and we're telling the world that somehow we should get to decide who is deserving of sitting on the Human Rights Council or not. I don't know how you feel about this, but I think the whole United Nations idea is bunk. Just the fact that somehow somebody thinks that they have the right to tell you what to do because you live inside this geographical area that they've drawn a map around you. They've basically put a fence around you and said, you're part of my territory. Now I get to tell you what to do. And now I'm going to go war against this other country over here. And so you have to support my war effort. And then, so you've got all these different layers of people telling other people what to do. You could call them areas of dominion, the rulers, the authorities. I think in many cases these are spiritual offices. These are demonic forces at work that are trying to get people to kill each other. And whether you're talking about the United Nations, which is ostensibly a peaceful organization, stepping in and issuing orders, or whether you're talking about a country issuing orders, or whether it's a state, a city, it all comes down to this. I don't believe anybody has the right to rule me except me. And I don't think anybody has the right to rule you except you. And, I don't know, call me a voluntarist, call me an anarchist. I think that Nikki Haley and the United Nations and this whole Human Rights Council thing should go away. That's my 2 cents. Love to engage you on the topic. Send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com. If you've got something interesting to say, I will arrange a phone call and we'll do a podcast together. radiofreespeech.com.